Welcome, everyone. If you're here because your heart aches for someone who's walked away, whether it's a lover, a friend, or someone you deeply miss, this video is your turning point. Forget every tactic you've tried to win them back. Today, we dive into Neville Goddard's revolutionary approach: stop chasing them. Instead, become the person they can't resist. This isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about a profound inner shift that rewrites your reality. Stick with me because by the end, you'll hold the key to transforming not just your relationships, but your entire life. And I'll prove it with real stories you'll recognize. Now, let's shatter a myth: begging, bargaining, or proving your worth to someone never works. It drains your energy and pushes them further away. Neville Goddard, a mystic who transformed lives in the 20th century, revealed a radical truth: everything in your outer world is a mirror of your inner state. That if someone left you, it's not about their flaws, it's a reflection of how you see yourself in that relationship. Maybe you felt unworthy, feared abandonment, or doubted their love. Those inner vibrations materialized. But here's the hope: you can flip the script. Neville taught that imagination creates reality. So, instead of fixing the them out there, you rebuild the you within. Start by asking, who would I be if this person adored me? Not a clingy version hoping for crumbs, but a grounded, magnetic force. Someone so full of self-love that their presence is a gift. Feel that version now. Walk with their confidence. Speak with their calm. Breathe in their certainty. This isn't pretending, it's becoming. Your imagination is the workshop where this new self is crafted. Live there. Dwell in the feeling of being cherished until it's more real than your doubts. Let me show you how this works with Sarah's story. She begged her ex for months. Texts ignored. Calls unanswered. Desperate. Then she discovered Neville. She stopped contacting him and began her inner work. Every morning, she sat in stillness and felt his arms around her. Not as wishful thinking, but as a memory of what was already true. She'd whisper, "Thank you for loving me so completely," and let gratitude flood her. She revamped her life: yoga classes, cooking workshops, dancing alone in her kitchen, all while carrying the emotional blueprint of being adored. She didn't manifest him back, she outgrew the version of herself he'd left. 6 weeks later, he showed up at her door, trembling. "I dreamt about you every night," he said. "I couldn't stay away." But here's the twist: Sarah had changed so much she almost said no. She'd fallen in love with herself. That's the secret. You don't get them back, you attract them anew when you're no longer the person they walked away from. Now, let's get practical. How do you embody this version? First, revise your past. Neville's revision technique is gold. Rewrite painful memories before sleep. If they said, "I don't love you," replay the scene with them saying, "You're my everything." Feel the relief. This isn't denial, it's reprogramming your subconscious. Second, live in the end. Not, "I hope they return," but, "Isn't it wonderful being loved so deeply?" Third, redirect your focus. Obsessing over them? That's worshipping their absence. Pour that energy into you. Journal as your highest self. Buy the coffee you'd drink if you felt treasured. Laugh freely. When old anxiety whispers, "What if they never come?" smile and reply, "But I already have me." Still skeptical? Consider physics. Quantum science shows particles change when observed. Your consciousness shapes reality. Obsessing over lack? You get more lack. Anchored in self-worth? The universe mirrors it. Neville called this the law of assumption. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and reality conforms. Another example: Mark's wife left after 10 years. Devastated, he did what most do: he chased. He texted apologies, sent flowers, begged for counseling. Each act screamed, "I am incomplete without you." And the universe echoed back, "Incompleteness." Her distance hardened. Then Mark discovered Neville. He stopped all contact. Not out of spite, but surrender. He realized, chasing her was an addiction to lack. It cemented his identity as abandoned. So he rewired his assumption. Every night, he sat in his quiet living room, the same space that once felt hollow, and immersed himself in the feeling of reconciliation. Not as a plea, but as a memory. He felt the weight of her head on his shoulder while watching movies. He smelled her perfume on his collar. He heard her laugh echoing from the kitchen, now. He didn't visualize her returning, he embodied the man who had never lost her. The man whose marriage was healed, solid, cherished. He lived in the end so completely that when friends asked, "How's the divorce?" he'd smile calmly, "We're happier than ever." They pitied him, thinking he'd cracked. But Mark knew, assumption is silent. It doesn't argue with facts. Then, 3 weeks into this practice, his wife texted, "Can we talk?" Not about logistics, but regret. She'd dreamt of their wedding night, woken sobbing, flooded with inexplicable certainty, "We belong together." Coincidence? No. Mark stopped trying to pull her back into his broken reality. Instead, he assumed the state where their union was whole, and pulled himself into her reality, the timeline where she never truly left. The alchemy of letting go. This is the paradox: to manifest reconciliation, you must release the hunger for it. Urgency is the killer of miracles. When you obsess over winning them back, you worship their absence. You anchor in lack. But when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, peaceful, whole, already loved, you become a magnet for the version of them that matches your state. A student of mine craved her ex's return but felt suffocated by anxiety. I told her, stop scripting texts. Start scripting your serenity. She began a daily ritual, lighting a candle and writing from the reality where they'd renewed their vows. She'd pen gratitude notes, "Thank you for choosing us every day," and place them in a box, knowing he'd read them soon. She stopped checking his social media, stopped asking friends for updates. Why? Because in her assumed state, there was nothing to check. He was already hers. Within a month, he showed up at her door, trembling, "I keep dreaming you're my wife. Not my ex, my wife. I can't eat. I can't sleep. I need us back." She smiled, handed him the box of letters, and said, "I know. Welcome home." The universe doesn't respond to need, it responds to knowing. When you assume the end, the bridge of incidents unfolds on its own. The job offer comes from a stranger. The healing arrives without medicine. The lover returns without manipulation. Because time is illusion. All states exist now. Your assumption is the doorway.